Welcome back in. Just 24 hours away from our next storm system, we are still expecting a burst of wet snow in about 24 hours, followed by rain, and the gusty winds going to be the biggest impact. Late tomorrow, the winds crank up to 50 miles an hour, and into early Saturday, 55-mile-an-hour gusts will be possible. That storm system still several hundred miles away, but it is going to turn a notch and accelerate into the overnight and Friday period. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour timing. Waking up tomorrow, it's going to be dry outside. Don't expect a fresh blanket of snow because it's not going to start until the late afternoon. That is when a band of wet snow is going to move on through. If you're driving home tomorrow around 4, 5, 6 p.m., there could be some slush on the roads. It's quickly going to melt away, though, as we start to see a transition to rain. And I will have that snow accumulation map coming up in just a bit, but we all do briefly climb up to near 40-degree temperatures. Now on the backside of that system, a transition back to some snowy conditions as well as a gusty, strong breeze. Here's a look closer to home. Again, dry weather in the morning. During the mid-afternoon, that is when we see that burst of wet snow, especially right along the Maumee River and northwest. That is where the snow is generally going to be the heaviest. Heading into your Friday, we are going to see some rain showers transitioning back into some snow, and that is going to kick up the wind during the overnight time. Here's the snowfall map. What you can expect: the majority of the Toledo Metro, including most of Lucas and Wood counties, in the ballpark of 1 to 2 inches, which might not sound like much, but due to the blowing and the drifting, as well as the strong winds, could be more impactful. Now, north and west of Lucas County, that is where 2 to 4 inches may be possible. That includes areas like Fulton County, Lenawee County, Monroe County, and the far northwestern quadrant up towards Hillsdale, Coldwater, Michigan. Some of those spots could see 4 to 6. If you live south and east of the river, still could get an inch or 2, but areas like Tiffin, Fostoria, Norwalk, some of those spots less than an inch of snow accumulation. Now, the winds are really going to be the biggest impact out of this storm. Widespread winds of 50 to 55 miles an hour. Folks who live closer to the Lake Erie shoreline southeast of the Maumee River could see an isolated gust up to 60 miles per hour. Now, behind these alert days, a sharp change in the weather pattern ushers in frigid conditions, and we are going to see our first sub-zero temperature readings of the season. Let's break down the timeline one last time. Friday afternoon snow turning to all rain as temperatures warm up to the lower 40s. Very windy early Saturday, gusts to 55 miles an hour. The winds finally begin to diminish Saturday evening and Saturday night, and into Sunday turning much colder. High temperatures will be down in the teens. Those alert days shaded bright in red as this will be a high impact storm, particularly with those strong, powerful winds. There could even be a few isolated instances of power outages as a result of those winds. Now, that would be not great due to the cold temperatures to follow, so be sure to check that WTOL 11 weather app. We're going to be tracking the impacts throughout the weekend and the lingering impacts as those temperatures fall to the sub-zero temperature territory into early next week. The extended forecast features cold temperatures, and we're likely to stay below average through the mid to latter half of January through the end of that 10-day forecast. Dan?
Oh boy.